Good morning, my people, my people, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. My people, they didn't want me to come live with this thing this morning. When as soon as I put in the title, they started upshot my video. However, today, the 17th of July 2022, start the countdown. Now it's 14 days to the Unity Labour Party annual convention. My people, this convention is a very important convention for the Unity Labour Party because on the agenda is the election of a new president of the Unity Labour Party, and whoever is elected president is going to become the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that will carry St. Vincent through to the next general election. My people, the comrade is senile. He is experiencing dementia. My people, the comrade, the all-great almighty comrade, is suffering from Alzheimer's. He's struck down by the Most High. Here, he had been preparing his son Camilo to take the seat of Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So Borta Caesar and Camilo is running for the post of Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the 34th of July 2022. Ralph Gonsalves has been doing everything in his power to ensure that Camilo is presented in the light where the people will get accustomed to him, handling the affairs of government in a leadership position. And he has Borta Caesar in a demoted position. No matter how much project Borta Caesar recommend for the government to get involved in, Ralph Gonsalves ignore all of that. Everything Borta Caesar come up with, he ignore it. My people, listen to the two candidates. Most of you who are NDP supporters will say, you don't have a dog in that fight. But this is important not just to the Unity Labour Party, it is important to every citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Here is why. Like father, like son, Ralph Gonsalves don't even have an idea of what he's doing where running the government is concerned. My people, over 20 plus years as Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves did not produce any new permanent job. He had things like the YES program, where he was paying students below minimum wage to work. Students and young adults. He had another program, I can't remember the name, where people will come back from universities with their degrees, and they were put in this program where they will just barely given a stipend to function in the capacity of their training and of their qualifications. Ralph Gonsalves had not produced a new job in 20 years. No permanent job. No permanent job whatsoever. Go back and check the records. Camilo Gonsalves is following in the footsteps of his father. And I'm comparing Camilo Gonsalves and Borta Caesar now. This is what is happening. Camilo Gonsalves has borrowed money to start hotel. They have to pay for the franchise, the name of the hotels, and they have to pay every year for the name of those hotels they're going to carry. Whether Sandals or Hilton, whatever, they have to pay for the name of those franchise every year. Those hotels will employ a maximum of 100 people. Because if they are going to employ more than 100 people, they will not be profitable. My people, there is not a market in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to accommodate these hotels. Whether you're NDP or ULP, listen carefully, because it matters who take over in the interim from Ralph Gonsalves. So here we see Camilo have proven that he don't understand the function of government. He is borrowing good money to start private sector investment. Private sector investment in government, under government control, always go belly up. They always bust. They are never profitable. And they employ the minimum set of people. So Walter Caesar, on the other hand, has recommended to Ralph Gonsalves on numerous occasions that they re-establish the marketing corporation so that they can go out and look for markets for the products of the farmers, so that thousands of farmers who are allowing their produce to go back to the ground can find a market and they can get money for their hard labor they put into their farms. So when Camilo Gonsalves is borrowing hundreds of thousands of US dollars to build hotel, that is going to become a burden on the government and will only employ a maximum of 100 workers. So Walter Caesar is coming up with an idea that will benefit thousands of farmers and their families. But Sir Walter Caesar's idea is ignored. Vincy Queen, nice to have you. Sir Walter Caesar's idea is ignored. Why? Because Ralph Gonsalves and his son is not interested in the development of Vincentians, but they are interested in window dressing, in giving a few party supporters jobs. If Ralph Gonsalves follows Sir Walter Caesar's idea, thousands of farmers will become independent businessmen and women and will be able to sell their produce and determine their own destiny. They don't want that. They want to have those farmers on welfare, on social benefits, so that they can control what they say, when they say, and how they say it. Now, Camilo Gonsalves is going into another private investment development in buying fishing vessels. And they are going to give people these vessels to operate. My people, if government buy fishing vessels and give these vessels to fishermen to operate, it will be irresponsible of the government to not ensure that all of the vessels and their equipments are insured. It will be irresponsible if the government don't ensure that all of the fishermen or fisher folks who are operating these vessels are insured. So if those vessels go down, because we know every year there are vessels that go down, the vessels are lost, and the lives that are on those vessels are lost. So if they are going to invest in fishing vessels and give them to these people to operate, it will be irresponsible of the government if they do not insure these vessels and their equipments and ensure that the people who are working on these vessels have insurance. So in case there is tragedy at sea, as is expected, as often happens, that these families have something to carry them through the tragedy. Vincy Queen say exactly. Vincy Queen, I am talking to you. Government don't get involved in private sector investment. Government develop infrastructure and produce enough so that private citizens can get involved in private sector investment. So here we see Camilo ideas are going to be a burden on the government and it's going to be endangering people's life, while Sir Walter Caesar's idea is going to benefit thousands of Vincentians and their family. So why is Camilo's idea acted upon, pushed forward, and made public, while Sir Walter Caesar's idea is just mentioned and is ignored? Why? They have no interest in the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in the development of Vincentians. Next thing, let us look at the character of these two men. Soborta Caesar, Camilo Gonçalves. Camilo Gonçalves was not born in St. Vincent. His father was Vincentian. Camilo Gonçalves spent most of his life outside of St. Vincent. So not only he was not born in St. Vincent, he spent most of his life outside of St. Vincent. He is not registered. He is registered as a United States citizen. The Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines says that it's only Vincentian citizens or born Vincentians are able to hold the post of Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So if Camilo is elected president and is put in the place of Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you know what happens? They are breaking the law. He should not even be a part of the House of Parliament. But that is neither here or there. Soborta Caesar have never been involved in a scandal. Since I know this guy, he have never been involved in a scandal. Not in his primary school days, not in his secondary school days, not in his college or university days. And since he have came back from college, he have not been involved in a scandal. Camilo Gonçalves has spent most of his life in the United States and in Jamaica. And when Camilo Gonçalves came back to St. Vincent, after many years, in less than 3 years, Camilo Gonçalves was involved in a scandal where he was exploiting the poor, underprivileged girls of Bottom Tongue, where he was exploiting Yugi Farrell, where he was encouraging these teenagers into getting involved in sexual activities such as threesomes and so forth. This is the confession of Yugi Farrell, one of the women who his father and him threw into mental home, pump her up full of psychoactive drugs so that she can be determined crazy. This is the confession of one of our children. Camilo Gonçalves went to Bottom Tongue. We know Bottom Tongue people are underprivileged people, poor people, poverty-stricken people. And Camilo Gonçalves take the young girls of Bottom Tongue and turn them into prostitutes. What did Soborta Caesar did? Nothing. He tried to live an honorable life. When you see Soborta Caesar, you see him associated with a Shaker religion, converted. The man is trying to live a life for the Most High. He is serving under the devil in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but he's still trying to do right by the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it will be foolish for Vincentians, the members of the Unity Labour Party. I know most of you did not vote for Ralph Gonçalves, but Ralph Gonçalves rigged the election so that he can win because he did not value your vote. So if you're going into that convention in 14 days and vote for Camilo Gonçalves, you have to be out of your mind. And if you think Ralph Gonçalves is going to allow this to be a fair election, you are also out of your mind. You have to look for the irregularities. You have to ensure that the means in which they are tabulating the votes is one that is transparent. You can't let them go in the back. If you vote by secret ballots, you can't let them go in the back with the secret ballots. And when they announce the winner, they must make the ballots available so that the people who voted can inspect those ballots and see that there was no hocus pocus or suspicion. Because let me tell you something, Ralph Gonsalves is going to steal the election to ensure that his son Camilo wins the presidency and becomes Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My people, Camilo Gonsalves, you know what he's doing. You don't have an idea what he's doing. So Borto Caesar, on the other hand, know exactly what he's doing. Because if you notice, he has never put forward a private sector investment project. But when he put forward a project, it's a project that will benefit a large cross-section of Vincentian, giving them the opportunity to decide their own destiny so that they can build house, buy cars, and take it back to the 70s when banana were king. Ralph Gonsalves don't want that because he wants to keep the people under his thumb. He wants to always have control over the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So whether you are ULP, whether you are NDP, whether you are Green Party, or whether you are in Anasta's party, it matters to all Vincentians. Who becomes president of the Unity Labour Party and in turn becomes Prime Minister. Because if Sir Borto Caesar becomes Prime Minister, bet your life, Sir Borto Caesar is going to reopen the marketing corporation. He is going to go out there and look for markets for the farmers' products. He is going to do his best. He's trying his best, but he's being oppressed by Ralph Gonsalves because Ralph Gonsalves don't want Vincentian to see his skills. They don't want Vincentian to see how intelligent he is. He don't want Vincentian to see that this is a man, although he's serving under the devil, his heart is in the right place. My people, what more can I say? Tell your friends who are Labour Party members, Cartarian members. Talk to them. Let them know it is important that we keep the Constitution of St. Vincent intact by not electing a foreigner to the highest political office of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is important that Vincentians choose the high road and elect a man whose behaviors and demeanor has been honorable and respectful and not oppressive. It is important that Vincentian get a Prime Minister in Sir Borto Caesar rather than one in Camilo Gonsalves. Because guess what? The son is going to be worse than the pooper. The son is going to be worse than the pooper. When he can't do the job, and when he realizes he can't do the job, he will be too ashamed to vacate the seat of Prime Minister like how his father was ashamed to vacate the seat of Prime Minister. My people, my name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Privet and Mercy to the Sun. Thanking you for listening and hope that you share. I'm out.